All right. We are back again. It's your boy Cornelius Jones, 10-minute investing. Come on in the room, everybody. Want to talk to some people. Want to talk about a very nice conversation I had with ChatGPT. Very nice conversation I had. I'm looking at X here. I saw an excellent post that just describes in a nice little image. It shows how Ripple is utilizing XRP specifically within different protocols, within different institutions, and it's a great post. And from looking at that post, I had ChatGPT analyze the post. And then I asked ChatGPT a very simple question. I asked it, what is the likelihood, assuming that we have the legal clarity for XRP, that we have the legislation, the lawsuit is all that's over, assuming that we have those things, what is the likelihood that these traditional banks who are currently partnered with Ripple and are not using XRP, what is the likelihood that they do use XRP by 2030? That was the first question I asked it. And Gronk gave me a very detailed answer. I'm not going to read all of it, but I am going to read some of it. And what I want to do here is just kind of skip to the summary, the answer at the very bottom, where it answered the likelihood by 2030. All right, so bear with me here while I get to that spot. Okay, here it is. And so the answer says, nope, it's not it. We're almost there. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just all the way to the end. With 100% legal clarity and a legislative blueprint, I'd estimate an 85 to 90% likelihood that traditional banks currently using Ripple, but not XRP, will adopt it by 2030. The combination of regulatory certainty, a clear adoption path, and Ripple's XRP-centric ecosystem make adoption highly probable. Most banks will likely start with indirect usage, example via RLUSD or Liquidity Hub, before fully integrating XRP for cross-border payments. To track progress, monitor Ripple's banking partnerships, XRP transaction volumes on the XRPL, and adoption rates of RLUSD among traditional finance institutions over the next few years. So then I got into a more specific question, because I said, how likely is it that this happens by 2030, right? Then I said, let's assume we have 100% legal clarity and completed legislation by the end of 25. Okay, because that's what I think is going to happen. I believe we will have that clarity with legislation and the lawsuit being over by the end of 2025. Now, given that, I said, let's estimate how soon traditional banks that are Ripple customers but currently do not use XRP would begin adopting XRP. Okay, so that was the question I asked it. And so now I'm going to read some of it right here. This is a lot. It gave a detailed answer, trying to decide on what I want to read. Some of it I definitely want to get into, but not too much of it. Yes. So it gave me one estimate, because traditional bank, here's the overall estimate. It said traditional banks that are Ripple customers will likely begin adopting XRP within 3 to 6 months of the legislation by Q1 to Q2 2026, starting with pilot programs among early adopters. Broader adoption across most banks will take hold by mid-2027, roughly 18 months after the legislation, as mid-size and larger banks complete integration and scale up usage. The combination of legal clarity and a clear blueprint and Ripple's XRP-centric ecosystem ensures a relatively swift adoption timeline, with smaller banks moving fastest and larger institutions moving within a year. But then I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. Banks are already piloting. We're already past that step, right? Now, we may not have gotten anything announced here in the United States, but with the rest of the world, all the things we've been reading, it is clear that we are past the pilot phase when it comes to digital assets and specifically XRP. So I just put that in there. I said, from my research and understanding, traditional banks have already run their pilot programs. Please estimate, assuming we are already past the pilot stage. And then it gives me a whole nother answer, very detailed. I'm just going to skip to the very end, though, where it says estimated timeline for adoption post-pilot. Here we go. First quarter, 2026. First 3 months post-legislation. Banks that have completed pilots immediately begin scaling up. They finalize executive approvals, update systems for broader XRP usage, and expand to more payment corridors. Early adopters, example like smaller or agile banks, start using XRP at scale within 1 to 2 months, leveraging RippleNet's existing infrastructure. Larger banks like BNY Mellon take 2 to 3 months to finalize plans and begin rollout. Q2 2026, 3 to 6 months post-legislation. Most RippleNet banks complete their scale-up. Mid-sized banks finish integrating XRP across their operations, while larger banks like BNY Mellon fully roll out XRP usage for cross-border payments. The bandwagon effect kicks in with late adopters, if any, starting their scale-up to avoid falling behind. Mid-2026 onward, 6+ months post-legislation. XRP usage becomes standard across Ripple's banking partners. Banks optimize their processes using XRP for a wide range of transactions, and Ripple's ecosystem, examples, Liquidity Hub, RLUSD, supports ongoing growth. Overall estimate, assuming traditional banks have already completed their pilot programs, they would likely begin adopting XRP at scale within 1 to 3 months of the legislation by Q1 2026. Early adopters could start as early as January 2026, while larger banks might take until March 2026 to fully roll out. Most banks will complete their scale-up by mid-2026, around June 2026, roughly 6 months after the legislation, as the pilot phase has already proven XRP's value and the legislative blueprint removes remaining barriers. The rapid timeline reflects the bank's readiness, Ripple's support, and the competitive pressure to adopt efficient solutions like XRP. That's not according to Cornelius Jones. That's according to ChatGPT. Now, yes, it's given my parameters. The parameters I gave it, let's assume we're in a world where legislation has been completed and the lawsuit's over by this time. If it doesn't happen by that time, then this whole thing, right? But that's what I believe is going to be the case. If that is the case, then this is what ChatGPT gives for a reasonable way to process how soon banks are going to roll on to this, how soon global adoption happens. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 months after legislation is completed is a reasonable time to expect the switch to be flipped. It's not that long. It's not that long. People, when you have to consider the competitive nature of these banks, when one bank starts getting an advantage, and start making some serious money with this technology, as long as legislation is written, why aren't they going to jump on this technology? They're not going to not adopt it. This technology is going to make banks money. It's going to save them time. Getting rid of the friction out of this system and being able to zap trillions and trillions of dollars around the world, instant settlement. The products that are going to be built on top of that type of infrastructure are going to be game changing. And every financial institution is going to adopt it or they're going to die. And it's just that simple. So we're talking about reasonably, if every bank is adopting it, where it's the norm, where all of Ripple's partners are now using it in their everyday inflows for everyday transactions. Yep, I think that's a $10,000 XRP. I do. That type of volume, that's what we're talking about. But a $10,000 XRP, in my opinion, is peanuts. That's peanuts to me, may not be to everybody else. Could we be a year and some change away from a $10,000 XRP? I'm asking the question. You know what I think, right? Ladies and gentlemen, all of this hinges on global adoption. And I see a world where global adoption is coming very soon. It's coming very soon. So that's my rant. What's happening? What's good? What's good? Glad my people are in the building. Glad my people are in the building. Let me speak to a few folks right quick. Let me speak to a few folk. What up, though? Not Today Club. What's good? 619 Believer, how you doing? Anna the old folk, what's going on? We got a super chat from Henry Brown. Thank you for that, sir. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. He said it's 2045 on Grok's AI when I asked, and may go above 10,000 due to economic war with China. You know, you got to word it a certain way. It's going to give you certain things based on how you word it, right? But it's an excellent tool to use. Nanos with the backbone. Is there any truth to Amazon partnering with Ripple and XRP? Yeah, absolutely. They haven't made an official announcement, I don't think. But I truly believe that is definitely the case. But I don't think there has been an official announcement. Warrior 1985, what's going on? Rudy the Boxer. You said, I'd be pissed if you had to wait a year and a half. Well, Rudy, you'd be pissed until the year and a half is up. Then you wouldn't be pissed anymore, right? Here's the thing, man. What is there to be pissed about? These things are what they are. And what can any of us do about it? Absolutely nothing, right? Here's what the question I want to ask you a question, Rudy the Boxer. What else is your plan? What else do you have? What other plan do you have to have millions of dollars within the next year? Right? You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a long time to wait, even though I've been waiting 4 years. So 5 years. Actually, when I got into XRP, it was early 2021. So it's been 4 years for me. And my mindset getting into it was always, this is going to be a 3 to 5 year hold. That was always my mindset. As far as the time it's going to take to get wealthy. And I always thought that no later than 2030, between 2025 and 2030, my thoughts was it has to be somewhere between there, right? And it looks like things are lining up to that. It definitely, but world events are world events. XRP is going to do amazing things based on world events. And they're just events that none of us can control. So we just got to wait. It is what it is. We got Marcel in the place. Lonzo says 100 easy this year. I'd say easy if legislation is in place. I'd say easy if XRP gets some really good clarity from the SEC at the end of the lawsuit. then it would definitely be easy. And of the old folks, let's show some love, people. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. Beam, what's up? What's going on? Job workout already pre-ordered. My Lambo Jet. Jet black with rose pink interior. Hey, you gonna get that Lambo. You gonna get that Lambo. Ben, what's good? Yeah, man, it's raining crazy right now. It's raining crazy. That's why I need to get outside and do these dashes. I'm dashing for XRP, and when it rains, it's a great day. But I said I got to do a video today. I got to get this video done. So I'm doing my video, rocking with y'all for a little while. I'm probably going to go to about 20 minutes and then going to get on out. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Atticus, how much XRP do you think is required to generate generational wealth with your price prediction? So with my price prediction, I think XRP is going to go to $1 million one day. But most likely you don't want to wait till it gets to 1 million to say you have accumulated wealth, right? It would be nice to have to wait the least amount of time. So what's the least amount of time? What's a reasonable amount of time you're willing to wait from now? If you're thinking a year or two, which I think is reasonable from now, if you're asking me within a year or two, on a conservative level, I think XRP, it will easily be at $1,000 per coin. From now, a year or two from now, between 1 and 2 years from now, $1,000 XRP, I think that's very possible. So how much is generational wealth to you? Is that 10 million? Is that 100 million? You just got to divide at that point. Whatever number you believe is generational wealth, you divide that by that 1,000. There's your amount of coins. Lonzo, I hope that answered your question. He got another question. Have you seen how XRP has a multiplier aspects and flows to market cap? Yes, I have seen that. And that just comes off of math, people. People have analyzed certain times when XRP's price jumped and they looked at the public record and looked at the inflows that were coming in and then did the math. Wait, the inflows was this, but the market cap reached this amount, and just did the math, just did the ratio. So it is what it is. And that ratio has been a 1 to 500 multiplier, which is pretty insane. Pretty insane. Uh-oh, my battery's about to die on me. Let me get my cord. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. Hold on, let me get this thing plugged up. There we go. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Back in the comments. Back in the comments. I hear you, Ben. I hear you. ATL Meme Factory, what's good? I feel you on that. That's a great thing to have. Land, that's all you need. I think I may want to get a private land somewhere, and just have my family and the people I invite, and that just be our own private land, Got to find some. I know there got to be some tiny islands out there that are still unclaimed. Kadeem, my guy. What's happening, Kadeem? He said it would be easily a high of 4 digits working to 5 digits first quarter of 2027. I believe it, brother. I believe it. Lonzo Turner, what's going on? Anna the Old Folk, what's going on? Rudy the Boxer, I guess I have plenty of time to buy XRP. I hope that's the case, but don't play with it because we don't know how much time we have. Retail could surprise us, and this thing could just go bonkers. We never know what retail is going to do. But the pattern has shown XRP pretty much just trades stable. It fluctuates up, and it goes back down. And if it goes back down, if it goes down first, don't trip. It's going to come right back up. And when it goes back up, when it goes up, don't get too excited because it's going to come right back down, right? It's just going to just pretty much trading stable. It traded stable for years at 50 cents, give or take, give or take, give or take. Now, boom, it shot up to $2 almost overnight, right? With the news of Trump, with people understanding this dark cloud that has been over crypto and XRP is about to be removed. Those people who understood that jumped it up from 50 cents to $2. And what has it been doing since? Trading stable. The next move is when we're done with legislation and we're done with the lawsuit, when we're done with all that, and now the leash is taken off, the noose is being moved off of XRP's neck. And that's going to bring in utility. That's what we're talking about. 3 digits, 4 digits, 5 digits. It's from the utility, the use case, the functionality of this coin, not some retail investors who are speculating on it, who are following the herd, looking for the next great coin. The sky is the limit, Ben. I agree. All right, people, can't stay on too long, but I want to invite you guys to come out to a Zoom meeting tonight. This particular Zoom meeting, there's going to be $1 million man who understands what it takes to make $1 million because that's the amount of money that he has. And he is going to be speaking on this Zoom meeting about Cryptex. For those of you who are who have heard about it, but maybe you haven't really looked into it, I just want to encourage you to come to the Zoom meeting tonight and listen to a man who's already making millions with this opportunity. Just hear the information. Understand what this is before you can make a decision. Make an informed decision, right? Get all of the facts. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited about Cryptex because I like the idea of knowing I have a contract that's going to pay me X amount 3 years down the road. I have a contract that's going to pay me X amount 5 years down the road. Okay. So that's what this is all about. But you need the details. You need the information about how all of this works, right? You need to hear all that. Come to the Zoom meeting. The link for tonight's Zoom is in the description. It's at 7 o'clock this evening, Central Standard Time. So once you're finished with the Zoom, if you want to get involved, you know how to find me. I'm going to have also in the comments section a link for a how-to video if you want to purchase contracts, because a lot of people have questions and my emails get full. So I have a how-to video for anyone who comes back and says, hey, I want to get into this. Look at the video, and the link to get into Cryptex will be in that video. All right. So I'm going to put that in the comments section, but in the description, you will find the link for the Zoom. All right. So I'm inviting y'all to that. My people that are in my Discord group, I'm going to rock with you all today as well. We have a Zoom meeting tonight as well. That is also going to be at 7 p.m. So we're going to have 2 simultaneous Zooms going on at the same time. But I look forward to rocking with you guys. And until then, this is your boy Cornelius Jones, 10 Mina Investing. Gonna holler at you guys on the next one. You guys be blessed and have a good one.